been searching for a reason, but my reason's left me for good. Tell me, where do I go from here? Boom, 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 boom. 'Cause I find my situation always leaves me really in doubt. Tell me, where do I go from here? Tell me, where do I go from here? Though I'm just a cheerful man who's tried to pass the test, tried to jump the hurdles, but I've always been upset. All this great confusion in this never-ending dream seems to make it difficult. I still proceed, and I'm hoping that a new life will help me start up again. Tell me, where do I go from here? Tell me, where do I go from here?
Have you read this?
Yes.
Anything to declare?
Yes. I declare I've just wasted the last 12 months of my life.
You know what I mean, sir.
Yes, I do indeed, officer. The answer is a depressing no. When I left England as part of the brain drain, in response to an ad which promised a glowing future sur la continent, I didn't think I'd be returning with just my dirty laundry, a pair of souvenir clogs, and a half-eaten Edam cheese.
Will you open this case?
Very well. That'll be my cheese. Unless it's me socks.
Icy calm, Jim. Nerves of steel. He'll never twig that Edam as a false bottom.
Can I see your passport, sir?
What? Oh, yes.
Did I give him the right one? Oh, yes. Date of birth, 21/6/39. Place, Eckersley, Yorks. Hair, brown. Eyes, blue. Name, Dixon James. Alias, the White Shadow. Double agent, gun runner, and international cheese peddler. Despite the charming half-smile which plays permanently about his lips, Dixon is highly dangerous and should not be approached by members of the public. He is wanted by Interpol in 6 countries and by women all over the world.
I can't make out your profession, sir. There's an ink blot on it.
Ah, the ink's a clue.
Are you a forger, sir?
No, I'm a teacher. There are other clues visible to the eyes of a trained observer like yourself. The chalk dust under the fingernails, the stooped shoulders of defeat and capitulation, and the empty wallet.
At least it took you abroad, didn't it, sir?
At exactly the wrong moment, it would seem. I read in Time magazine that England is where it's at. Swinging London, miniskirts, psychedelia, and rampant promiscuity.
Not in Harwich, sir. Not in Harwich.
What's it got to do with him if my shirts haven't been washed for weeks? Sitting there passing moral judgment on other people's underwear? Right then. Who'll have the pleasure of Jim's company for the next 2 hours? Preferably female. We don't want a school outing on the armed forces, thanks very much. Oh, no. Oh, I remember you from the boat. Hand-knitted cardigan and penguin poets. Pass. Impossible. We should put you in reserve. A youth hostler with a mouth organ, a 4-year-old with a rash, and a vicar. All you need in there is an Everton supporter, and that's my idea of hell on wheels. Oh, well, that's it, Jim. No point in going any further. And the lucky winner is...
Excuse me, is this,
Oh, God, it's first. Is she worth the supplement, Jim? How much have we got on us? 28 and 9pence and 4 guilders. I need the cash for a taxi at the other end. We'll have to take the bus, won't we? She reads those magazines quick enough. Of course, a girl like that only looks at the pictures.
The trouble with the world today is that people only want to look at the pictures.
She can probably barely read. How pathetic. I despise you. I despise your silly, insubstantial, shallow mind. Do you hear me? I despise you. P.S. I love you. I adore you. I need you.
Oh, sorry. It's rude to yawn, isn't it?
No, I didn't mean to stare.
Oh, I'm flaked out. I've been working since 5 this morning. Weren't half freezing out on those marshes.
I have to ask what a pretty girl like you, dressed like that, was doing on the marshes at 5 this morning. Well, you don't look like a gilly on a duck shoot.
I'm against blood sports. This fur's not real, you know. I won't wear real animal fur.
Nor me. No, it's not real leather. It's simulated.
Quite a few of us girls have made a stand about it.
Oh, really? And what do you girls do?
I'm a model.
Oh, that's why I was staring. I thought I knew the face.
You probably clocked me on this. I'm Lucy Simmons.
My name's Dixon. Jim Dixon.
Hello, Jim Dixon.
Do you think the name Jim suits me? I always think it sounds like a trade unionist representing the Boilermakers, Big Jim Dixon.
What about Jimmy Dixon?
Oh, well, that sounds like the man who plays the organ on Blackpool Pier. Jimmy Dixon, the Wurlitzer Wonder.
James Dixon's got a bit of class. Depends on what you do, doesn't it? What do you do?
Well, I'm in between jobs at the moment. Just buying time, really, to finish my doctorate of philosophy.
What you do with philosophy once you've got it?
I suppose I could always open a philosophy shop.
I got a dining car, thank God. I got us a table. Oh,
Me stomach thinks me throat's been cut.
well, this place all gammon away. At least we're leaving on time.
You going to that party tonight?
No, they want the context by tomorrow. But listen,
I don't think I'm going.
The Shadow's eyes stray to the young man opposite. His worn tennis shoes, frayed Levi's, and unwashed tie-dyed T-shirt seem at odds with the first-class compartment. Then the Shadow's trained eye observes the thin gold chain round his neck and the Cartier watch on his left wrist. It is obvious that the young man is an archetypal product of 60s success, a lout with loot.
Kevin, this is Jim. Or Jimmy. Or James. Depends how the mood takes him.
hello, I'm Kevin.
How are you?
Is he cool?
Why, do you want me to turn the heating up?
Yeah, he's all right.
Do you fancy a smoke?
Oh, yes, I would, actually. I've just finished my last one.
Kevin was the photographer on the shoot.
Oh, really? Yes, I take a few snaps myself. Well, that's what I call them. Yes, I suppose your Nikon takes photographs. My box brownie takes snaps. Oh, yes. Yes. Far out.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?
Take your seats for lunch, please.
Great, let's see. You come in, Jim.
No, I had something to eat on the boat. I'm not very hungry.
No offence, Squire, but I'll never let this out of sight.
If we don't come back, good luck with your philosophy.
Thank you. Oh, wait, don't you want to take this with you?
Not in the restaurant car.
Be my guest.
Already Dixon is savouring the forbidden delights which London promised. Already he is taking his first steps on that downward spiral of degradation. And he's not yet reached Colchester. What would my mother, a confirmed Kensington's tipped smoker, and that only for the gift coupons, make of this exotic weed?
Mum! Dad!
This is where you've ended up. I said to your father, didn't I, Cyril? I said he'd come to a sticky end.
How did you get here?
10:40 to King's Cross, taxi to Gatwick, BEA to Marrakesh, and camel to here.
How could you afford it?
Your mother cashed in her Kensington's coupons, and she set her heart on those hot glasses.
Could you let your father and me down like this, Jim?
Scrimped and saved to put you through grammar school and university, and you finish up in an opium den listening to Ravi Shankar.
Oh, you haven't let yourself go. That captain could do with a good wash.
Try and understand, Mother. I'm probing the frontiers of my mind, expanding my consciousness. I'm looking for truth and enlightenment.
That's no excuse for a mucky captain.
Not very likely. Don't even like the taste. Doesn't do anything for me anyway.
Your seat's taken.
Be my guest. Oh, sorry. Ah, that'll be my cheese, unless it's me socks. Just be cool, that's what I say. Let it all hang out. You haven't got the light on you, have you? Yeah, have one of mine. Oh, thanks very much.
I think you've finished with this.
What are you doing that for?
Unless I'm very much mistaken, this is hashish.
What business is that of yours, Mr. Detective Sergeant Keating?
Is Toby asleep?
Yes, thank God. Philip, what about fondue bourguignon
What about it?
for tomorrow night?
What about tomorrow night?
The Batties are coming to dinner, and Chris and Tony. We owe them a dinner, and we agreed tomorrow night was the best time.
Did you, darling?
Or is fondue a little passé?
Well, if I remember, Chris is a vegetarian. I don't think she'll take kindly to watching the rest of us spearing lumps of raw meat.
Oh, God, Rob.
I suppose that means ratatouille, does it?
Get that, would you, darling?
Gulliver 7923. Who? Jim Dixon? How are you? It's Jim Dixon, darling.
Oh.
Hey, Joanna sends her love. Oh, well. Voice from the past. Are you in London? Oh, well, you must pop over.
No, Philip.
Oh, hang on a second, Jim.
Oh, look, for goodness
Look,
sake.
you don't need to go to any trouble. I mean, one can hardly... Yes, of course we're sure, Jim. Joanna insists. just grab a cab and come on over. We're in Kentish Town, about 15 minutes from the West End. What? Well, I'd rather not pick you up, Jim. It's a bit of a schlep, and it's so easy to get a taxi. What? What do you mean, bail?
You all right? Thanks very much. What's going to happen to me, Sergeant?
Oh, once your friend comes to collect you, you're free to go. Then you're in Bow Street Thursday, I think it is.
Am I in serious trouble?
Oh, well, that depends on several factors. Commissioner takes a fairly hard line on drug abuse. He has no wish to see this city become another San Francisco. A lot of people running around with flowers in their hair, stoned out of their skulls, spouting a lot of nonsense about peace.
It is my first offence. But anything. I've never even had a parking ticket.
Mine, I think.
Oh.
He sees your sort of behaviour as symptomatic of the sickness of English society. A society that makes cult figures out of clothes designers and heroes out of hairdressers.
Yeah. No, I agree, Sergeant. What sort of values are we living by where the Beatles can be kept out of the #1 spot by Engelbert Humperdinck?
If I were you, I would not try levity in front of the beak.
Beak?
Magistrate. I've known some be lenient for an offence like this, while others want to bring back the birch.
It won't make the newspapers, will it?
Not unless you're a pop star.
Do I look like a pop star? I'm a teacher.
Oh, a teacher? Oh, well, that may well be an argument for clemency. On the other hand, someone who influences the morals of minors might well have to be made an example of.
Well, we've smoked it, of course, once or twice, but only in the privacy of other people's homes.
Doesn't do much for me.
That's not quite true, Philip. At the Durakovs, you went through your entire repertoire of parrot jokes.
I admit I got a little garrulous.
You also leapt upon their Filipino au pair.
Made me feel giggly. Not much to laugh about now.
Here, let me top you up. It's not a bad drop. This month's selection by the Wine Society.
Very acceptable.
I'm afraid there's not much to put in your omelette, Jim. It'll have to be fine herb.
Oh, I don't want to put you out, Joanna.
I suppose I could toss you a salad.
Oh, that'd be nice.
What about these people who gave you the joint?
I never saw them again. They went into the dining car.
Well, if you told the policeman, he'd have arrested them and then he'd have been off the hook.
No, I couldn't do that. The girl was rather well known, you see. Lucy Simmons, actually.
Lucy Simmons?
Who's Lucy Simmons?
Oh, you know, darling, the model. Her face is everywhere.
Is it? Bit of a dolly bird, is she, Jim?
Please, Philip. You're talking about the woman I love.
Oh, I didn't know you knew her.
Oh, yes. I've loved her ever since Harwich.
Well, I hope she's worth it. We're going to carry the can for her.
Oh, it won't be that bad. I mean, it's your first offence, isn't it?
Of course it is.
And Jim's not exactly a rolling stone.
He'll need a solicitor.
I'll call Charles.
Charles? He did the conveyancing on our house.
Yes, I know, darling, but he also got Bunty off the breathalyzer.
Feel like endive, Jim?
Eh? Oh, yes, yes. Love it.
Putting aside for the moment the temporary hiccup of this drug bust, it's not a bad nose for 12 and 6. What are your plans, Jim?
Well, my plans haven't quite crystallised. Holland was a mistake, but I needed distance. I needed to get away from...
Margaret?
Yes, Margaret.
I thought you married Margaret, didn't you?
Don't be silly, Philip. If they got married, we'd have been at their wedding. Margaret was one of my best friends.
Holland was the alternative.
Well, I think you're right, Jim. I don't think Margaret was the woman for you. I mean, she's a sweet, sweet girl, but let's face it, she's a leech. She'd have dragged you under.
I think your metaphors are a little mixed, darling. A leech sucks blood, it doesn't drag you under. Aren't you thinking of a giant squid?
That's not fair. No, I've never seen Margaret as a giant squid. She's just a girl who's always been there. And I suppose if I went back to university, she'd welcome me with open tentacles.
Here you are, Jim.
Oh, that looks wonderful, Joanna.
There's some brie afterwards. It's a little chalky, but perfectly edible.
I thought you had a nice little niche for yourself at university. I mean, not many people specialise in medieval history.
No, of course not. The reason I became a medievalist is that the medieval papers were a sort of soft option for my degree course. Smashing. But I never thought I'd be stuck with nothing else but medieval rubbish.
Yeah, I suppose that's why I got lumbered with bloody Proust.
Strange, isn't it? How we end up specialising in what we hate most.
But what do you want to do, Jim? I mean, more than anything.
More than anything.
I'd like to write a novel. No, I wouldn't. I'd like to have written a novel. And it's in Penguin. And on the back, there's this little black and white photograph of yours truly looking very pale and moody and smoking a Gaulois. And the blurb underneath lists all my previous occupations, and they're terribly exciting things like foreign correspondent, fur trapper, rubber planter, lone yachtsman. The reality, of course, is too boring to contemplate. James Dixon is a failed medievalist and former secretary of the Eckersley Grammar School Lonnie Donegan Appreciation Society.
Oh, look on the bright side, Jim. If the beak sends you to Clink, that'll put a bit of colour in your dust jacket.
I think you'll agree, sir, that the evidence does indicate that someone did give the reefer to my client. After all, a thorough search produced no other illegal substances, and the reefer in question shows traces of lipstick, which confirms that a woman had also smoked it.
Inconclusive evidence these days.
Oh, God. Now he thinks I'm a puff as well.
Your point is taken, sir, and a very witty one. Now, my client has already pleaded guilty to possession of this minimal amount of marijuana, but I would submit, sir, that he is a victim of his own naivety. That and the natural emotions which he must have been feeling, both fatigue from his journey and the anticipation of being reunited with his loved ones, and, of course, his own native land.
Nevertheless, Mr. Dixon has acted rather foolishly. You are, after all, an educated man, a teacher. And as such, you have to set an example to the young people under your tuition. Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon, are you listening?
What? Oh, yes, sir. All ears, sir.
Do I take it that you intend to resume your teaching career in this country?
Oh, yeah. I'm desperately anxious to return to the academic world, sir. I'm hoping to obtain a professional post.
I wouldn't think that the charge you're facing here would recommend you to any decent university.
Very well, I'll try an indecent university. In that case, sir, I shall use my time to finish my doctorate on medieval life and culture.
Oh, you're a medievalist.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my own pet subject of burial. Tell me, what will be the main thrust of your paper?
Truthfulness for a man who's never given his D-Phil a monkey's toss. Well, I think the, thrust of the thing will be, social.
Huh?
You know, sir, the university in its social role.
Do you propose to offer an analysis of scholasticism?
Well, I'd like to, of course, sir, but I'm not sure I'm yet qualified to pronounce on the learned Scotus or Aquinas.
Oh, hell, did I mean Augustine? Might be rather fascinating to study the effect on men's lives of the various popular debasements and vulgarizations of the schoolmen's doctrine.
Yes. Yes, that is indeed food for thought, sir.
Yes, I certainly feel it. Yes, oh, quite right. We digress. Dixon, it's always tragic when a man of your erudition comes before the bench. We do feel that incarceration would jeopardize your scholastic career. The court therefore fines you £25.
I think we did rather well.
Yes, well done, Jim, though I really think you've been very, very lucky.
Yes, I know. They might have got me for travelling first class on a third-class ticket.
I never thought you'd get off with just a fine.
I'll let you have the money as soon as possible, Philip.
While on that vexed subject, where should I send my,
Oh, well, send it care of Philip and Joanna. I'll be there a night or two. Oh, that's if it's not too much trouble, Joanna.
Well, no, we do have a dinner party tonight.
Oh, come on, darling. I'm sure there'll be plenty of ratatouille to go around.
Well, of course, but I just thought Jim would be anxious to get back north.
Oh, I am, Joanna. Can't wait.
Well, I must get back to Holborn. Nice meeting you, Jim, albeit under rather bizarre circumstances.
Hello, Jim.
Lucy, how good of you to come. Philip and Joanna Lassiter, Lucy Simmons.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I know you. Your face is everywhere.
We must be going, Philip.
Must we? Oh, yes, suppose we must.
Awfully nice to meet you.
What's this?
It's your fine. It's the least I could do.
Why?
Oh, come on. You didn't blow the whistle on Kev and me. They'd really have done us, being faces and that.
How did you know I was here?
It weren't difficult. We got off the train, saw you'd been collared. So I rang this mate of mine at West End Central, and he gave me the court lists.
Well, I can't possibly accept this, Lucy.
Of course you can. You're skint. Listen, I've got a rush. I'm going to this birthday lunch for Terry Stamp. Why don't you come with me? Everyone will be there.
I'm not anyone.
They don't know that.
No. Thanks all the same, Lucy, and I appreciate you showing up, and I accept this with humble thanks.
Well, good luck and everything.
For a moment, Dixon felt a pang of regret as he watched her walk away. But in his heart of hearts, he knew that the life she represented was not for him. He thought instead of the university and of life there with Margaret. Good old Margaret. A girl oblivious to the whims of fashion, a girl with her head set squarely on her shoulders and her skirt 2 inches below the knee. And he thought of the familiar textures of the life waiting there for them, together.
Lucy, wait!
I've been searching for a reason, but the reason's left me for good. Tell me where do I go from here? Though I'm just a cheerful man who's tried to pass the test, tried to jump the hurdles, but I've always been upset. Always great confusion in this never-ending dream. Seems to make it difficult. I still proceed.